So I just left Denny's and I started to read a novel by Jean Paul Sartre entitled The Age of Reason. And I believe it's a trilogy, the first novel of a trilogy. I have the other two books in my shopping cart, and I'm using the DJI Mic Mini right now. I just hooked it up to my shirt, and I'm about to move and park somewhere else to have a little bit more privacy. I'm in the parking lot right now. I'm gonna park in the sun because it feels like 60, but I think it's colder than that. And the um, but about this novel, or I should say that I want to make some comments on reading the novel, which is that the idea that as you read a novel, it presents itself like within the novel itself, within probably any text, embedded in that text are answers if you look at it like a question and an answer. And it has to do with helping recall and memory. And this is basically what we learned in grade school. And for me, grade school and middle school was the lesson planner or the teacher or whoever would compile questions to test you for reading comprehension. As a reader, I'm not so much interested in reading comprehension as I am in understanding, which I guess is synonymous with reading comprehension to some extent. But you have to stop when you're reading. And it's more than just underlining or circling a passage or making a note in the margin. It's asking a question, framing the question that the text itself is answering. The answer is on the page, but the question is the subtext that is there. It's there. And the framing of the question can change the meaning of the text. And I'm going to work on coming up with some examples in the near future. I just wanted to really record this because it's an observation I made earlier. There's these two characters, and a couple things of note have occurred in the first chapter of the text. One is that a innocuous exchange occurred, or innocent exchange, I guess. A casual exchange occurred between Matthew and a tall, skinny man who could have been a beggar, may just not wasn't a beggar, but maybe was just a guy asking for some money. He obliged, gave him, I believe it was 5 francs or something. And then the man gave him a green card. And for me to properly be able to discuss this book, I need to be able to recall the specific details surrounding that object. Because my gut tells me it's going to become increasingly important later on in the novel, and this character may reappear. And I think in all good works of literature that occurs. the other thing is that um, this event, this exchange that happened, it took place, and we were witness to it by reading the dialogue between the characters. But there was also the narrator who was describing this scene for us, the reader, in a very traditional narrative, classical style of prose. And this was done, um, and there was a literary device or technique that he used that I became aware of, which was that later on, Matthew recounted this event and shared it with, I believe it's Marcel, which is presumably his lover. I don't believe they're married. So we got to hear the event from the way in which Matthew described it, which was interesting. And it made me think that event A can occur as described by the dialogue of the characters involved and the narrator. But then event A is recounted by one of the characters, and the way in which he describes it is usually different because we're only getting his side of the story. And it had the effect of somewhat solidifying that exchange in my thoughts and in my mind. And lastly was what is probably going to become a theme that I think will probably be developed in the future of the novel, which is the love that Matthew expressed to Marcel was a love was eloquently stated, and I would highlight these passages and review them with the audience here. He was asking her, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Because she had taken on. Sartre described it in the novel. She had taken on a more masculine tone and posture, which I found kind of peculiar. And she was very aggressive toward him, critical of him, maybe hypersensitive. We'll come to find out it happened, right? She said it happened. It happened. So, and it made me think this might be what happens to a lot of people today. Well, come to find out, she's been late on her period for 2 weeks, so she's more than likely pregnant. And the reaction and the response, and I guess one of my first instincts was to say, does Sartre agree or disagree with what he's writing about? And I don't think it's important to know either way. Sartre is describing this. And maybe this happened to him personally. Who knows? It wasn't joy, happiness, or thanksgiving for this new life that was beginning to take place. It was simply, and they both agreed, well, we have to get rid of it. We have to get rid of it. We have to end this life. With no feeling. It was almost like it was just nothing. And I thought to myself, what type of couple thinks that way? I mean, really. Yes, it's happened. No sense of responsibility, per se. Marcel had a phone number from someone who had one, and Come to find out, she was injured during the course of the abortion, and for 6 months, it took her to heal, and she's probably not the same. He said, no, we can't go there. So this is where I'm at in the novel so far. And this is my brief thoughts on it thus far. And this concludes this recording at 10 minutes and roughly 45 seconds. Now I'm going to play it back to see what type of ambient sound was recorded in this recording, as well as the recording quality.